The sun hung high in the sky, casting a golden glow over the quiet suburban neighborhood. Birds chirped in the distance, and the faint hum of lawnmowers filled the air. On the corner of Maple Street, a small wooden stand stood, adorned with a hand-painted sign that read, "Lemonade for sale, $1. All proceeds go to my chemo fund." "Thank you." Behind the stand stood a little girl named Emily, her bright blue eyes sparkling with determination. At just 8 years old, she had already faced more challenges than most people do in a lifetime. Diagnosed with leukemia 6 months ago, Emily had been undergoing chemotherapy treatments that left her weak and tired. But today, she was determined to make a difference. With her mother's help, she had set up the lemonade stand to raise money for her medical expenses. The neighborhood had rallied around her, with friends and strangers alike stopping by to buy a cup of lemonade and offer words of encouragement. But little did Emily know, her life was about to change in a way she could never have imagined. The day started like any other. Emily stood behind her stand, her small hands gripping a pitcher of freshly squeezed lemonade. Her mother, Sarah, sat nearby, knitting a scarf to keep herself busy. The stand was simple but charming, with a checkered tablecloth and a jar for donations. Emily had even decorated it with drawings of sunflowers, her favorite flower. "Mom, do you think we'll make enough today?" Emily asked, her voice tinged with hope. Sarah smiled warmly, though her heart ached for her daughter. "Every little bit helps, sweetheart. And look at all the people who've come by already. You're doing amazing." Emily nodded, her spirits lifted. She poured a cup of lemonade for a neighbor who dropped a $5 bill into the jar. "Thank you," she chirped, her smile lighting up her face. As the morning turned into afternoon, the stand began to attract more attention. Word had spread about the brave little girl selling lemonade to pay for her treatments, and people from all over town came to show their support. Cars lined the street, and the jar quickly filled with bills and coins. But amidst the hustle and bustle, no one noticed the sleek black car that pulled up to the curb. The tinted windows rolled down, revealing a man with kind eyes and a warm smile. He stepped out of the car, his presence commanding yet gentle. It was Bill Gaither, the legendary gospel singer and philanthropist. Bill had been driving through the neighborhood on his way to a charity event when he spotted the lemonade stand. Intrigued by the crowd, he decided to stop and see what was going on. As he approached the stand, he noticed the sign and felt a pang of empathy for the little girl behind it. "Hello there," Bill said, his voice soft and soothing. "What's your name?" Emily looked up, her eyes widening in recognition. "I'm Emily," she replied shyly. Are you Bill Gaither?" Bill chuckled. "Yes, I am. And I'd love a cup of your lemonade, Emily." Emily's hands trembled as she poured the lemonade, her excitement barely contained. She handed the cup to Bill, who took a sip and smiled. "This is the best lemonade I've ever tasted," he said sincerely. Emily beamed. "Thank you. It's my grandma's recipe." Bill reached into his pocket and pulled out a checkbook. He scribbled something on a check, folded it, and placed it in the donation jar. "Keep up the good work, Emily. You're an inspiration to us all." Before Emily could respond, Bill returned to his car and drove away, leaving the crowd in stunned silence. Sarah rushed to the jar and pulled out the check. Her eyes filled with tears as she read the amount, $50,000. "Emily," Sarah whispered, her voice trembling. "Look at this." Emily took the check, her small hands shaking. She couldn't believe her eyes. "Mom, is this real?" Sarah nodded, pulling her daughter into a tight embrace. "It's real, sweetheart. You did it." The news spread like wildfire, and soon the entire town was buzzing with the story of Emily and her lemonade stand. Donations poured in from all over the country, and Emily's medical fund quickly grew beyond what she needed. But more importantly, her story touched the hearts of thousands, inspiring people to come together and support one another in times of need. Extended body. As the days turned into weeks, Emily's story continued to spread. News outlets from across the nation picked up the tale of the brave little girl who sold lemonade to pay for her chemotherapy. The local news station was the first to arrive at the lemonade stand, their cameras capturing Emily's bright smile as she poured cup after cup of lemonade. "Emily, how does it feel to know that so many people are supporting you?" the reporter asked, holding a microphone out to her. Emily thought for a moment before answering. "It feels really good. I didn't think so many people would care about me, but they do. It makes me feel like I'm not alone." Her words resonated with viewers, and soon, donations began pouring in from all corners of the country. Letters and cards arrived by the dozens, each one filled with words of encouragement and support. Emily's room became a sanctuary of hope, the walls adorned with drawings and messages from children and adults alike who had been inspired by her story. One particularly touching letter came from a young boy named Tommy, who was also battling leukemia. He wrote about how Emily's courage had given him the strength to keep fighting. Emily read the letter aloud to her mother, tears streaming down her face. "Mom, we have to help Tommy too," Emily said, her voice filled with determination. Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "We will, sweetheart. We'll make sure that everyone who needs help gets it." With the overwhelming support from the community, Emily and Sarah decided to start a foundation called Emily's Cup of Hope. The foundation aimed to provide financial assistance to families dealing with childhood cancer, covering medical expenses, travel costs, and other necessities. Bill Gaither, upon hearing about the foundation, immediately offered his support, hosting a benefit concert to raise additional funds. The concert was a grand affair, held in a large auditorium filled to the brim with people eager to show their support. Emily stood backstage, her heart pounding with excitement. She had never been in front of such a large audience before, but she knew that this was her chance to make a difference. "Are you ready, Emily?" Bill asked, kneeling down to her level. Emily nodded, her eyes shining with determination. "I'm ready." As the curtains parted, the crowd erupted into applause. Emily walked onto the stage, her small hand clutching Bill's. She looked out at the sea of faces, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you all for being here tonight," Emily began, her voice steady despite her nerves. "When I started my lemonade stand, I never imagined that so many people would care about me. But your support has shown me that even in the darkest times, there is always hope. Together we can make a difference for kids like me who are fighting cancer. Thank you for believing in me." The crowd rose to their feet, their applause thunderous. Emily felt tears streaming down her cheeks as she looked out at the sea of smiling faces. She knew that this was just the beginning, that there was still so much work to be done. But with the love and support of her community, she felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the final notes of the concert faded into the night, the auditorium remained alive with energy. The crowd, moved by Emily's story and the performances, lingered in their seats, clapping and cheering. Emily stood on the stage, her small frame illuminated by the soft glow of the stage lights. She looked out at the sea of faces, each one a testament to the power of kindness and community. Her heart swelled with gratitude, not just for the financial support, but for the overwhelming love that had carried her through the darkest days of her battle with leukemia. Bill Gaither knelt beside her, his hand resting gently on her shoulder. "Emily," he said, his voice warm and steady, "you've done something extraordinary tonight. You've reminded us all that no matter how small we are, we can make a big difference in the world." Emily smiled up at him, her eyes glistening with tears. "I couldn't have done it without you, Mr. Gaither, or without all of them," she added, gesturing to the crowd. Bill shook his head. "No, Emily, you inspired us. You showed us what it means to be brave, to keep going even when things are hard. That's a gift you've given to everyone here tonight." The audience erupted into applause once more, their cheers echoing through the auditorium. Emily's mother, Sarah, stood at the edge of the stage, her hands clasped over her heart. She had watched her daughter grow from a scared little girl facing a terrifying diagnosis into a beacon of hope for so many. Sarah's tears flowed freely as she thought about the journey they had been on, the sleepless nights, the endless hospital visits, the moments of despair when it felt like the world was against them. But now, standing here, surrounded by love and support, she knew they had turned a corner. Emily stepped forward, her small voice amplified by the microphone. "Thank you," she said, her words simple but heartfelt. "Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for helping kids like me who are fighting cancer. And thank you for showing me that even when things seem really, really hard, there are always people who care." The crowd rose to their feet once more, their applause thunderous. Emily felt a warmth spread through her chest, a feeling she couldn't quite put into words. It was more than happiness. It was hope, gratitude, and a deep sense of belonging. She knew that her fight wasn't over, but she also knew she wasn't alone. She had an army of people behind her, cheering her on. As the lights dimmed and the crowd began to disperse, Emily and her mother made their way backstage. Reporters and well-wishers surrounded them, but Sarah gently guided Emily through the crowd, knowing her daughter needed a moment to breathe. They found a quiet corner, and Emily sat down on a small bench, her legs swinging beneath her. "Mom," Emily said after a moment, "do you think we'll ever be able to help everyone who needs it?" Sarah sat down beside her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "I don't know, sweetheart, but we're going to try. And even if we can't help everyone, we can help as many as we can. That's what matters." Emily nodded, her expression thoughtful. "I want to keep doing this. Even after I'm better, I want to help other kids like me." Sarah smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "You will, Emily. You already are." The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of activity. Emily's foundation, Emily's cup of hope, grew faster than anyone could have imagined. Donations continued to pour in, and volunteers from across the country offered their time and resources to help. Emily became a symbol of resilience and hope, her story inspiring countless others to take action in their own communities.